December is magical and also messy. There's something about the extra food, the events, the papers, and the general holiday swirl that makes everything feel like it's been shaken up. Even the systems that usually work so well start to feel stretched thin this time of year. Before January hits, I do a quick reset of 10 simple systems that help our home feel lighter, calmer, and more functional again. And the best part, each of these takes minutes, not hours. There's no marathon cleaning sessions required. Hey friends, welcome back to Systematic Mama. I'm Christy. If you're new here, I'm really glad you found this space. And if you're already subscribed, thank you for being here and for chatting with me in the comments. I love hearing from you and I love knowing what's going on in your homes too. If you're feeling the December overwhelm, the extra food, the kids' school papers, the weird schedules, and just life, this video is going to help you so much. These aren't deep cleans or massive projects. These are tiny system refreshes that help me transition out of the holiday chaos and into a peaceful January. Let's start with the very first one I always tackle. Quick question before we jump in. What's one area of your house that needs a little extra attention after the busyness of December? Let me know down in the comments. I'd love to hear from you and what you're dealing with. Now let's jump in. This is always my starting point because December food is its own category of chaos. There's always leftovers from events, half-used ingredients from baking, and containers that I completely forgot about. So do I do a super quick audit? Nothing fancy. I pull everything forward so I can actually see what we have, and I toss the old leftovers that I know no one is going to eat. And then I make a little space for the holiday meals and baking supplies that always show up this time of month. It's honestly a 5-minute job, but it feels like I cleaned out a whole corner of my brain when it's done. Something about a clear fridge just brings instant calm. Next up is the pantry, which honestly surprises me every single December. I'm not doing a full pantry overhaul, just a light refresh to get us through the month. I check the basics: pasta, rice, snacks, baking supplies, and anything for the kids' lunches during that break before they go back to school. I do a quick tidy of the shelves so it's easier to find what we need, and I make sure we're stocked enough to avoid random grocery trips during that weird week between Christmas and January. It takes almost no time, but it saves me so much frustration later. Once the food is reset, I move straight into the paper clutter because December paper piles are next level. This is a place where everything ends up in December. School reminders, event invitations, mail, receipts, little notes, it all lands right here. So I clear the inbox completely. I recycle what I can, and anything that needs action gets handled or filed. It's such a satisfying part of the reset because it instantly makes our command center functional again. Then I set aside a small space, usually just a folder, for January school forms. There are always those first week back papers, permission slips, schedules, lunch menus. Prepping a home for them now makes me feel so ready for the next year. The next reset is quick, but it impacts me every single day. And if you're liking this so far, be sure to tap that like button and subscribe so you don't miss out on more ways to simplify family life. This one is small but so helpful. I don't do a full digital declutter, just a 15-minute cleanup session that keeps everything manageable. I quickly delete duplicate photos on my phone, clear out screenshots I no longer need, and I archive the ones I want to keep. Then I search my email for things like unsubscribe or sale, and I delete what's no longer helpful so my inbox doesn't feel like a black hole. And if I have important documents like school paperwork, medical info, or receipts, I take a minute to scan or upload those so they're saved and backed up. It's a tiny digital reset that makes January feel much smoother. Now let's talk about the kids' stuff, because December seems to reveal 10 things that suddenly don't fit. I don't know what it is about this time of year, but winter gear always seems to shrink overnight. So I do a quick size check. Snow pants, boots, gloves, coats, pajamas, school clothes, all the essentials. Anything that doesn't fit gets set aside to donate or to pass it down. And this is one of those resets that immediately makes mornings smoother. There's no more last minute, "Mom, these don't fit," those surprises. And speaking of smooth, January scheduling can feel chaotic if I skip this next reset. I take a few minutes to update our family calendar for January. Nothing too detailed, just the basics. I add the kids' start date for school and activities, any appointments we already know about, and any work commitments I need to remember. Then I look at our weekly rhythms, things like laundry days, grocery days, cleaning routines, and meal planning. Sometimes the winter months need a little schedule shift, and this is a good time to adjust. It's such a simple reset, but it really anchors the whole family as we move into the new year. The next reset lives in the car, and it always surprises me how much better it makes life feel. At some point in December, the car becomes a catch-all for the season. So before winter fully hits, I refresh our little car kit. I make sure we have gloves, a blanket, an ice scraper, extra diapers or wipes if you have little ones, and a couple of shelf-stable snacks. I check that everything is where it should be, and I replace anything that's missing. Then I give the surfaces a quick wipe and I toss out any trash. This isn't a full car clean, just enough to make the car feel functional again. And now we're moving into a system that sets the tone for January goals. I'm not doing a deep financial dive here. This is simply a 5-minute snapshot to ground myself before January starts. I quickly look over December expenses to make sure everything looks right. Then I update or reset my budget categories for January so there are no surprises when the new month hits. This tiny financial check-in helps me feel calmer and more prepared heading into the new year. 2 more, and the next one is the system that keeps our whole house flowing. Laundry gets weird in December. The towels multiply and the routines go out the window. So I do a quick tune-up. I empty all the laundry baskets around the house, I catch up on the towels, and I make sure I have what we need if we're hosting guests. And sometimes I run what I call a reset load, just basic essentials that help clear the decks. And this tiny reset gets everything flowing smoothly again before January hits. And the final one is small, but it gives the biggest mental payoff. These are the spots that always collect clutter for us. It's the entryway, the kitchen counter, and the living room. I choose 2 or 3 of them and do a 10-minute sweep. Nothing deep, just clearing the surfaces and returning items to their home, resetting the space enough that it looks and feels refreshed. It's amazing how these little 10-minute resets make the whole home feel calmer and more organized. And that is my December reset, the 10 tiny system refreshes that help me start January with a clear mind and a calmer home. These aren't about perfection. They're about giving yourself a soft, gentle landing into the new year and supporting your future self. If you made it all the way to the end, leave me a sparkly emoji in the comments. I love seeing those pop up. It truly makes my day. And tell me, which system do you refresh before the new year? I love hearing what works in your homes. And if this has sparked some ideas for you, please consider sharing it with another mom. A little support can go a long way in helping someone start the new year feeling calmer and more prepared for back to school rhythms. And if you want more help building simple, sustainable systems, check out the next video linked here. And don't forget to grab my free system planning workbook. It's linked in the description and you're going to love it.